Good evening. Welcome to Saren's Room, everybody. This is Trilaterum Tim. Trilaterum Stacy will be joining us in a little bit. She is indisposed at the moment. We've got a lot of fun ahead of us tonight. I got some painting of some models you may not have seen yet, as well as some other ones that we were working on in the previous weeks. So we're going to look at those. I'm also going to, during the halfway point, well, I'll show off the painted Binox and Brood heavy vehicles. We finished those up this week, and they look great. I'm very excited about them. Those will be hitting the web store next week in limited quantities. I will also have some on hand at our Games Day at Webway on Saturday. We'll be at Webway Games in Marlborough, Mass. So if you're in the area, come on down and say hi. So without further ado, I'm going to pass us over to the painting cam. So what we got here is one of the new Trold vehicles that is coming. It's their heavy walker. It's really kind of cool. It's got this really neat drill hand. Um, got a cool, like, big long nose to go with the rest of the Trold. Yeah, he's a lot of fun. He's a cool model. I really like him. So what I've done so far on this model is, with most of the Trold, I start with a base coat of Speed Plate Grim Black, or the Black Templar was the other one I used from the Citadel contrast line. So we started out with a coat of Grim Black, and then on the weapon, we used Vallejo Steel Gray, and then the helmet is painted with Scarlet Red from Vallejo from the Game Color line, and then we used Brassy Brass for these metal pieces. So we're going to go in here. We got some more work we're going to be doing here. We're trying to recreate the paint scheme that we have on the rest of our Trold. So I'm going to go ahead and I think the hoses in the back need a little bit of color, and we need to give these little missiles a little bit of color. Trying to decide whether I want to um, pull out all these rivets or not. I do kind of like to make the rivets pop, but there's an awful lot of them on here, so that's a lot of brass to paint. But at the end of the day, we'll probably go ahead and paint all the rivets because that's what we should do. So I'm going to go in here and we're going to paint those hoses in the back with some of this brassy brass to make them stand out, and then we're going to start in on these rivets, I think. Thanks, Rico. Yeah, it's a really cool model, and if you look, I think it really catches. Here's some of the regular Trolls that I've been working on, and it really does kind of match the aesthetic of them. So I really think they're going to look really cool. So I think people will have fun with them on the battlefield. So without further ado, let's put some brassy brass down on our palette. Trying to decide for the missiles, I'll probably just paint them black and then do. I like to do my missiles black and then I do two colors, either a red and a yellow or a blue and a white or something for the tips of the missiles. I don't know. I like doing that, and I think they pop when you do that. Alright, so we got our brassy brass here. Just going to hit this side of these hoses here. Just want the hoses to pop, look a little different from the rest of everything back there. So I hope everybody's having a good week so far. I've been prepping for our webway on Saturday. We're going to have the Brood releases that were released this month. I'll have all of those with us, as well as our regular catalog. I'll have a couple of the Binox and Brood heavy vehicles as well. So if you haven't had a chance to get those yet, you'll be able to pick those up. We've got two custom scenarios for the event. I'm actually printing pieces of terrain as we speak just for them. They're kind of neat. They have to do with securing a landing zone, and then once the whoever secures the landing zone is going to have to defend it while their troops drop in. So I think it'll be a fun couple of scenarios. We'll have lots of fun, punch and pie, the usual Trilaterum Day shenanigans. I believe that James will be there and will be actually streaming from Webway that evening. So definitely check out the stream Saturday night for hopefully I'm hoping and I believe we're going to be doing a remax of the Binox and the Binox heavy vehicle is going to be going up against the Brood, and we're going to have heavy vehicle versus heavy vehicle, which is pretty cool in my eyes. So okay, well, we got these hoses painted, so we're just gonna bite the bullet and start painting these rivets. So I'm just gonna use the brassy brass. I think that's the best way to do them. There's a lot of them, and I'm gonna make mistakes, so just bear with me. I dislike painting rivets, but sometimes it is a necessary evil, unfortunately. So, go ahead and do this guy. So what's on everybody's painting tables? Yes, Rico, a clash of the titans. Titan versus a titan! To quote the old movie. It's actually one of my favorite old 80s fantasy movies. I love, Clash of the Titans and Krull and the Beastmaster. I used to watch those all the time. I taped them off of TV, and I just watched them over and over. I was actually, when I was a kid, there's that scene where they make the dude that's all crazy in the Beastmaster, where they put that worm in his brain and it eats his brain, and they put the claws on him. That just scared me as a kid. I was so afraid of that thing. It was just crazy looking. So, just going in here and we're brassy brassing all of these rivets. Good times. So hopefully everybody's had a chance to download the latest Army update. That actually had the rules for the Brood heavy vehicle. It's actually the first of the vehicles with a new rule. We call it Thunderous Charge. And it's going to be able to move in a straight line, and every unit it touches while it moves in that straight line will take an attack. Kind of cool. Just something brand new for us. I've got some ideas on other weapons that will use a similar tactic. I'm thinking the Caver, when they come out, they're a dwarf race, and I had an idea for like a cannon that they shoot, and it's like a seismic wave that goes across the table. I don't know. I'm trying to think of new and interesting things that we can field, so that every unit just isn't another, rinse and repeat of the same old that you guys have seen already. I like to keep it lively. I like the nightlife. I like the boogie. Yeah, there's a lot of little rivets on this guy. Not as many as the Binox. He was a lot of rivets that I had to paint. I was not happy with all the rivets on him. But we'll go in. I'll go in here and just clean them up with some white, and then reapply the contrast. It will be easy peasy lemon squeezy. Just get down there, getting in there nice and deep like. Problem with rivets is you gotta paint one side, and then kind of flip them a little bit, paint the next side so that you get it all covered. You don't want part of that rivet, not like these ones are doing the side. You gotta get the side of them. So I'm hoping that everybody's had a good time watching some of the new TV we've got going on. We've got some really cool shows. Rico Suave says working on more Binox Command Infantry and Binox Infantry. Oh, well, you're going to need them for Saturday night. That command will come in handy, given that given that heavy vehicle and extra activation might well be super cool. So, like I was saying, we've been watching the new Rings of Power and the new House of the Dragon, and we're quite enjoying some new TV. I really am enjoying the Lord of the Rings. They're just throwing so many names at you, and if you have done a lot of Lord of the Rings reading of like the Silmarillion and the Book of Lost Tales and that sort of thing, they're really just diving deep, and I really like it. You know, they're like, oh, this is Isildur, and this is Elendo, and you know, it's Galadriel, and you know, it's just really cool. You know, they just I'm enjoying it. They're just really doing a nice job with it. And I think that they're really catering to those people that really just want to dig into the lore, and I like that. I like that a lot. So, Rings of Power has really stepped up. Yep, it has. I'm not a huge Game of Thrones fan. I mean, I'm watching it with Stace, and we watched the other Game of Thrones. I don't know. It's okay. Uh, it seems just more of the same old to me. I know Stacy keeps telling me, well, that is the Game of Thrones is just that it. It's a game that just is ever ongoing. So I just I don't know. I find it a little boring sometimes. I mean, I like dragons and stuff, so you know, gotta watch it for the dragons. So I was talking to the sculptor today, and she's well on her way with some of the new sculpts. The next batch, we're working on some neat original races this time around. Kind of going along with the pangolin Parisian kick we did, just trying to give people things that they haven't seen already. And she's working on some really cool avian models. So the whole army is going to be avian in nature, bird-like in nature, and I'm thinking that a good portion of the army is going to have either have drop deployment, or they will inherently have hover. Um, I want them to be able to just be a fast army. Their defense will be high, but their armor is going to be low, and I want them to just be able to get across the table, and just get into battle as they need. Kind of similar to the Binocs. I always thought that the Binocs were just a really they have lower defense and armor values, but they're fast and they have that stamina, which really helps them get across the table. When you figure that the bog standard Binocs unit infantry can take 3 hits before its stamina rolls are starting to degrade, that's pretty big, considering most of the regular units, the regular infantry units, they take 1 hit and they're already rolling on a 7 or a 6, or some of the small units even down to a 5 or 4. So I'm excited to see what people do with them once we figure out all the rules. You'll also notice one of the other additions to the bug list this time around is we added a really low point bug warrior with a close combat weapon instead of a ranged weapon. So they have very close range, just claws, and I believe they come in at 55 or 50 points. They're currently the lowest costing unit in the game. So when those get released next month, I'm curious to see how people use them. You know, you could effectively buy two of those units for one of another army's standard infantry. So, out activating is a thing, and horde armies could be something very interesting. So, I'm curious to see what people do with them. So, stay tuned on that note. All right, we got just a couple more of these darn little rivets to do on the side of his foot. Two more. There we go. Alright, let me just double check. I got the 6 there, I got the 6 there, I got all the ones on the legs. Okay. Yeah, I don't think we're going to do any on the gun. I think the gun will stay as it is. Great. So what we'll do here is we're going to let that guy dry. We'll clean up the spots that need cleaning up. Oh, yeah. I will clean up the spots that need cleaning up with some white, and I'll go through and put the Grim Black back on. So we'll kind of set him aside for now. I'm going to show you guys something new, actually. This is an alternative scope for the fungal transport. I got these in a batch of models that we have a new commercial license for. I just took it off the printer, so it's still a little. It's still got a couple little spots on it that need to clean out. So this is actually printed in FDM like the big vehicles, but it came out really good. I'm really pleased with it. And it's a big model, but being an FDM, I'll be able to sell it a little cheaper than the resin. And being an alternate sculpt, I'm only going to have handfuls of them on hand. But yeah, it's a cool looking model. So we're going to put a little paint on it. So I'm going to start out with the shell. I'm going to paint that like a light brown. So because I'm going to give it a couple of levels of washes. So we'll start with we're going to start with like a leather or something. You know what? We're going to use contrast on it, I think. We're going to use the hardened leather bead paint on the shell. Oh, I'm going to get out the old red Solo Cup of Doom here. So, you know what? I'm actually going to use dark wood. I want it darker than that. I'll use the darkest of the browns from the contrast. So, use that. A couple of drops there. I'm guessing that Stacy did not get off her call, so it may just be us chickens tonight. Okay. I'm going to just go ahead and give this a good... It's a little darker than I wanted, so that's okay. We'll lighten it up with some dry brushing later. It'll look pretty cool dark. Yeah. But it's a cool model. It's a big old snail. Which in essence, that's what the fungal transport is. It's a snail without a shell. It's a giant slug. So. The other side. Dang, that's a gnarly cup. Yeah, I know. It's one of the. I actually have. I'm gonna let you guys in on a little secret here when I finish with this contrast. Don't tell anybody, especially Stacy. This will be our little secret. Is I have multiple cups. I've got cups upon cups. Yeah, this is gonna look cool. Excited about this. Nice little model. This is the same range that gave us the bug, the giant bug sculpt. Yeah, there we go. All right, hold on a second. So there's our giant slug with the speed wash on it. So yeah, I've got one. Oh, look at that! I got another cup. Uh-oh, what's that over there? Is that another cup? Oh, look at that. Oh, gnarly cups to the extreme. Look at that. 3 of them. I got one more, but it's stuck to another cup, so I don't think it's coming out. So, oh well. But there you go. 3 gnarly cups. I'm going to have to bring some salt. So yeah. But these cups, they're cheap. What's a red solo cup cost yet? 10 cents, 15 cents. So. All right, we're gonna let this guy dry because I want to do the flesh of the snake of the slug in traditional color. So we're just gonna let that dry there, and we'll go back to working on our new unnamed, unruled compound mech here. So when last we met, we were giving him the magic blue treatment from Game Color. A triple whammy of gnarly cups, yes. So we're gonna get our magic blue out. So when last we were looking at this guy, I believe we were gonna give his shoulder pads blue. And I think the wings and shoulder pads were going to be blue, and we were going to do something different. Maybe we'll do the center of the shield blue and the outside something like white. I think that would look pretty cool. Yeah, we'll do the shoulder pads blue, the shoulder pads, head, and back wings blue, and then the center of the shield blue. So that's all we have left for blue on that guy. Go ahead with the blue. Come in here. So what I like, I did this technique on the last one of these, and I really liked it. Is that what I did was I used this magic blue as the base color, and then when it was dry, I added in the magic blue speed paint on top. Oh, looks like Stacy, Trilaterum Stacy has offered call, and she's going to join us.
Hello, everyone.
Oh, there's that magical voice. So as I was saying, I'm putting down the magic blue, and then I'll put the speed paint over the top of it, and actually it looked really good. It really gave a cool effect. So don't mind that noise. That's just the dog. She's got some kind of there's something going around. If you have pets, there's something going around with dogs that it's like a kennel cough, but
it's not
kennel cough, and the kennel cough vaccines aren't working on them. So I talked to the vet, and they said, just keep an eye on her, and not much you can do at this point. So we're just kind of watching her, making sure she's still eating, drinking, all that kind of stuff.
She doesn't stop eating and drinking, so
No.
It's not a problem.
It is not a problem. So we were talking about how much we're enjoying Rings of Power.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. And how I was saying that it's really neat that they're going into all the Silmarillion and the Book of Lost Tales, and really just kind of diving deep into that.
Getting into the mythos.
Oh, it looks like there's a question for Trilaterum Stacy there.
Why did I allow Trilaterum Tim print out a big boy creepy crawly? Why do you assume I have any sort of control over what that man prints on his printer? That's adorable. Yeah.
Too funny. She hates bugs.
I do. They're evil.
Yeah. So Stacy's going to be helping me with my speaking skills.
Oh, yes.
So I know that I say the ums and the ahs and the oohs and the blahs a lot. So she's going to start helping me. She is a very well versed speaker. So she's going to help me along that
I'm well
road.
versed. That's nice.
Thanks, old rogue. I appreciate it. I'm really enjoying these going old school in the old 80s manga feel for these guys. Like I'm in an old Force 5 cartoon.
Which is Tim's sweet spot.
It is. They're actually bringing back Grandizer, which I couldn't believe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's only been 35 years, but
Sure.
somebody's doing a remake.
Huh.
Which I think we're due for a remake of some of these old classic giant robot TV shows, you know?
I control the apple crisp, so I also control the printing. It's a thought, but
Hey now, wait a minute. Are
I
you
don't
saying
know.
that she could withhold apple crisp? Wait, whoa.
I mean,
You're giving Trilaterum Stacy ideas here that I don't know if they're healthy ideas.
It's a thought.
I don't know about this. I call time out here.
I don't usually use food to control Tim, but I mean, I'm game to try.
She uses other things to control too.
Yeah, it's PG right now, dear. So
It is. It's before 9 o'clock. So. I would be the first person to admit that I love my wife and I love spending time with my wife. And there's been many a time that I have said, I'm going to cancel on gaming so I could go home and, watch TV with my wife or have a nice dinner. We like to do date nights and go and eat. Eating is our fun time.
I'm food motivated.
I am definitely food motivated. We actually went into Boston this week, and this weekend, and we got dim sum at Empire Garden. If you've never been there, I think they're the only place in Boston that does cart service dim sum.
No, there are other ones.
Is there another?
Kind of the big one.
They're the biggest. They're in Chinatown. It used to be an old dance hall during World War II. It was a dance hall, the building that they're in. It's a great old building, and they walk around with these little carts, and you just point what you want. Oh, thanks, SRG. Her stare will work. I don't know what that means. Maybe if you could elaborate, I'm not sure what you're saying there. So we've got just doing these flying fins on this, guys.
Oh, my what? My stare to control him? Yeah, that does too.
Oh yeah, the stare. When I say something and I don't get an answer, just a look. Yeah. That's when I know. Tim you done messed up, Ron.
I don't know what he's talking about.
Stacy has a wonderful ability to get refunds places too. Like if we went somewhere and the best example I have is we went on a boat ride, right?
I just want to preface this with I'm not a Karen.
No, Stacy's not a Karen. So we go on a boat ride, and there was this family of kids that
No. It was a classroom trip.
Was it a classroom trip?
Mm-hmm.
And these kids were just being demons on this boat ride. So Stacy very politely walks up to the ticketing and was like, "Look, these kids were an absolute terror on this boat ride, and we did not have a good time. You know, is there anything you can do?" And the lady was like, "Well, I don't know about that." And literally, right as she goes, "Well, I don't know," what did the little kid do?
Oh, they were throwing rocks.
They like ran up and started throwing rocks
Wow.
in the lake right next to the ticket booth, and she was like, "Here, let me refund your tickets."
When your wife uses your full name, usually it's more Timothy than his
Oh.
full name.
Yes, Timothy. Uh-oh, what'd I do? Now, my mom uses Timothy Walter. Stacy doesn't use the Walter. But she'll just go, "Timothy!" And I know that as we say, you done messed up, Ron. All right, we're going to finish up this flying vein, and we'll take a quick break, and I'll show you guys the end results of the heavy vehicles. They really came out well. I'm really pleased with them. I don't know what color I should do the sword. I think I'll just do it like a metallic or something, I think. Big old katana. I know I mentioned it last week. The big vehicle for these guys is going to be bananas. I can't wait for you guys to see it. Oh,
Yeah, I don't know why I don't use his middle name. It's just Timothy.
with that exact tone of voice, too.
Yeah.
That is
I'm
the
trying to
tone.
think. Do I use? I don't. Our daughter, when I'm mad at her, I use Missy. Listen here, Missy. I don't know what I do to. What do I do to Max? Maximilian.
Maximilian. You say Maximilian.
Maximilian. All right.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to go to the main cam. Okay. Hi, everybody. So I'm going to turn this other light on so you get plenty of light. Okay. So as I had said, we finished painting on the Binox and Brood heavy vehicles. So I'm going to show those off to you. So the first we'll show off is the Brood one. So as you can see, he's big and nasty. He came out really good. So what I did with these was, this is a rust red, and the purple flesh was left white, and then a purple wash was applied to the whole model, and then the claws are painted black, and we did a quick dry brush of the buff on this, the red with the purple wash on it, and it looks really cool. It came out really good. I'm very pleased with it. So as I said, these guys we'll have a couple of these at Webway, and then they'll be going on the web store. They're $40 each. They're massive, as you can see. They're about 4 or 5, almost 6 inches tall. The Brood one comes out to, I think, 375 points, and the Binox one is 400 points. So they're very points costly, but they're a lot of fun. So here, I'll show you the Binox one. I'm very pleased with this one as well. So here's the Binox one. So for the Binox one, I started with a base coat of the GW chainmail, and then we applied the speed paints over the chainmail. So this is red speed paint, and then the olive drab speed paint, and then we did all the rivets and other spots in that brassy brass, and then on the guns I used tinny tin, and then on the missiles, as you could see, I painted them black, and then gave them a little green and white tip. So
Tinny tin and brassy brass.
yeah, they're actual colors.
Doesn't make it right.
I'm not lying.
I believe you.
So again, we'll have a couple of each of these on hand at Webway. If you want to put your names on them. Text, email me, or Facebook me and let me know, and I can put your name on one before the day. Otherwise, they'll be hitting the web store next week. So that's our big new heavies, and we have more heavies coming. Obviously, like I said, the heavy for the compound is bananas. I think everybody's gonna like it. It's just really over the top. So we're gonna switch back over to the painting camera. We'll paint for a little bit more. Okay. Okay, and for those of you that didn't believe, game color number 72058, Brassy Brass,
Brassy brass.
and game color 72060, Tinny Tin.
Tinny tin.
And in the middle between them is hammered copper.
Sure.
I don't tend to use the hammered copper. It's a reddish metallic. I don't know. I just don't use it.
Well, it is copper. I mean,
Yes. It is copper. So we're going to go ahead and just finish up the blue on this guy we're going to do his helmet. Because the other ones I have a red helmet too. So what do they call the gold?
Goldy gold.
Gold is glorious gold.
Oh, it's glorious.
It's
not goldy.
There's two golds. There's polished gold and glorious gold. Polished gold is a little bit more yellowish, whereas the glorious gold is closer to the brassy brass. And then you have one in between those called bright bronze. So they love using, double letters there, it looks like. Bright brass, tinny tin.
So what you're telling me is they came up with the colors and really didn't spend a lot investing in marketing for names and...
Well, to be fair, Vallejo, they've been around a long time, and they have a bunch of successful color lines, but they wanted to compete with GW's paint lines and match all the colors that GW has. So they literally took every color in the GW line at the time, matched the colors, and then just made up names. So I think they were more concerned with matching the GW colors and were like, here, somebody that they're also a Spanish company, so English is not their first language. So.
I'm gonna work on translating brassy brass, but
I could tell you, it's on the bottles.
It's on the bottles.
So tinny tin is Hojalata.
I can't see it.
Hojalata.
Mm-hmm.
And brassy brass is Bronce Pulido.
Look, all I'm saying is that if OPI Nail Polish can come up with as many names as they do every season, I just think Vallejo can do more. I know there aren't a lot of women on this chat but OPI comes out with great names for all their new releases. My personal favorite is I'm Not Really a Waitress, which is a great shade of red.
I'm not really a waitress. You heard it here, folks. Trilaterum Stacy says, hey, Vallejo, get it together.
I'm just saying improvements can be made.
Improvements can be made. You've been warned, Vallejo. This is your one and only warning. So we're going to go... Actually, I forgot we do the fists red. I think. You know what? I'm going to leave the fists. I got to check one. Make sure that the fists are supposed to be red. I'm not 100% sure on that one. So we're actually going to go back in and do some cleanup on our Trold mech. So for the cleanup, when I'm working with the contrast and speed paints, I just use a flat primer white to do my cleanup. I'll just go in and touch it up and then just put the Speed paint right over the primer. It works great. That is when you can get your primer to come out of the darn little bottle. Ah, there we go. Stacy, you missed it. I brought out all three of my Trilaterum, or my red sludge cups, because I
Oh,
got three of them.
jeez.
People were in awe. They're like, "Oh, they're glorious."
I think we need to like make a painting video with you with that song Red Solo Cup.
That'd be funny.
Mmm.
I actually didn't do too bad on this brass. Only a couple of little spots.
It's looking quite brassy.
Oh, you're not gonna let me live that down for a while, are you?
Well, you didn't come up with a name.
She's gonna be making fun of brassy brass all week.
Look, all I know is when my hair starts looking brassy brass, it's time to apply some toner. So
Watch out, Vallejo. You're gonna get a nastily worded letter soon.
no, they can do it. I'm just gonna judge them. That's all.
Judgy McJudgerson here.
I'm gonna judge them. Might even use their full name.
I think this brush is starting to show some wear. I might have to replace it. Where could I get some brushes? I don't know.
Gosh.
It's a mystery.
Mm.
Alright, so up here we had a little bit of a foobar. Up here. So we're going to make that with the white. You like his little nose? He got a little nose on him. Oh yeah, this orange shoulder pad too. Getting a little too far with the one. With the gold. The goldy gold.
It's glorious.
Glorious.
Gold.
This is brassy brass. So.
Brassy brass.
Okay. Yeah, those are good. So we're gonna let those rest just a minute. I'm actually gonna do another color on them while we let those rest. The nice thing about the paint on Vallejo primer is it dries like super quick. So we're gonna go ahead and use the dark gray for those mists. So what do you guys think? Should we go with red? I'm thinking red tips with yellow dots. We could do green tips with light green dots on the missiles. Or do people just not care? You can not care. That's okay too. They're just itty bitty little missiles anyway. Little missiles. Happy little missiles. There.
Everybody's gone quiet.
Yeah, it's like a graveyard. Everybody must be painting their own stuff.
Maybe that's it.
Well, we're gonna put some brassy brass, I think, on this exhaust tip here. Kind of color up the back of this model just a little bit. Yeah, we'll put some brassy brass. Brassy brass! There was one little brassy brass spot I noticed, too, that needs more brassy brass, so we're gonna try to see how many times we can say brassy brass this conversation.
How brassy of you.
Yes, I know. So after the Webway this week, our next event is the Gamer Flea Market in Uxbridge, Mass. We'll have some Trilaterum product there. We probably won't have the whole rack, and that's it's a fun event if you've never been to it. It's a pretty standard flea market just for gamers, so it's a lot of fun. We always have a good time. I know that Dave from Devil in the Wilderness will be there too. York from Things from the Basement is going to come up and sell some of his laser cut stuff. And then after that, the next big one is ArmorCon, which is in October at the Best Western in Marlborough, Mass. So that's going to be a hoot. So make sure if you're in the area, you come on by. Be a lot of fun. We're going to do a Trilaterum event Saturday night. It's a themed event. It's gonna be a lot of fun. There'll be prizes. Shenanigans abound.
Punch and pie?
Punch and pie, yes, there will always be punch and pie at Trilaterum events now, because that apparently is a thing. Old Rogue is going to be providing some pre-painted Trilaterum. So if you're in the market for some pre-painted Trilaterum, we'll have some at that event. We'll also be putting up a new pre-painted army on featured army on the website. So make sure you watch the space for that. He's I believe he's currently working on that. Well, he's got a lot on his plate, but he's such a fast painter that it'll get done, I'm sure. All right, so this model has this little spiky helmet, so we're gonna put a little brassy brass on his little spike, because why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you have some brassy brass on that spike? On the back. All right, and we're gonna do the last bit. We'll just touch up that grim black. We're coming to the end here, so I'm gonna get out one of them cups. Which cup will it be? Nobody will know. Oh, it's the gross cup. Oh, that's all of them.
Yeah, they're all gross.
Alright. This is just the speed paint grim black. We're just gonna go in and hit those couple of spots that we touched up. Yeah. And once it dries, you'll never know. All blend in. You do kind of feather it around though. I'm starting to think I might have used the Gravelord Gray and not Grim Black on this, because that black is standing out. Yeah, I might have. Oh well, we can make it work. Just gotta feather it out a little bit. Yeah, I think I did. I think I used Gravelord Gray and not Grim Black on this guy.
So how are you gonna fix that, hon?
Well, how we're gonna fix that is we're gonna end up going over this whole model with the Grim Black.
Okay then.
I'll feather these areas a little bit, but yeah, it's gonna need to do a fresh coat of Grim Black on everything that's not brass. Oh, and then I just hit the brass there. Darn it. There we go.
I think the painting gods are telling you it's time,
Yeah,
baby.
it's about time. All right, well, this guy's going to take a lot more work than I have left in the stream tonight, so we're going to have to put him down, and we will get back to him next week.
Put him down?
No, we're going to
send him to the farm. What?
No, he's going to get put down for now so that we can fix this, because it's going to need some fixing. So, all right, we'll switch back over to the main camera. Well, we'll have to do some fixing on him, and I'll have him ready to go for next week, and you guys can see the final results on that. Thank you everybody for coming tonight. I hope you had fun. Next week we're gonna try to, like I said, I'll try to have that Trold ready so that we can finish him off. I'm hoping to have some other new things for you guys to see next week. We might start diving into the Gaddikins a little bit, so you can see some of the sculpts that will be coming in that range. I have a couple of bugs that I haven't quite finished yet, so we'll have to get those painted so that you guys can see those, so that they'll be ready to go for the website. I know the Overlord needs to be done, as well as the new close combat Gants, the low price ones I was talking about earlier. So I hope you had fun. I hope to see everybody that can make it on Saturday at Webway. And as always, happy painting and goodbye from Saren's Rim. Say goodbye, Stacy.
Goodbye, Stacy.
Good night, everybody.